teams are vying for the final 4 playoff spots in the NWSL, and one of those teams is the Orlando Pride. They overcame a poor start to the season when they managed just 1 point from their first 5 matches to position themselves for a chance to reach the postseason. Joining us to talk about the Pride's playoff chance and Sunday's all-important match against the Houston Dash is Orlando's head coach, Seb Hines. Seb, thank you so much for joining us. We just had a great chat with Jordan Angeli to talk about all the matches, but it's great to now be able to have you join us and to get the insight from some of the madness, the chaos that is going to happen this weekend. I mean, obviously, so you guys are sitting in 7th, Houston sitting in 10th. But I mean, I say that, and I don't know how much that matters because the points are so close. How has preparation been going for this weekend's big matchup?
Yeah, really well. You know, as everyone knows, we had our away game in LA, difficult game, put a lot of energy into that to get the 3 points, and then immediately had to fly out to Louisville to play on that Friday. Obviously, the result didn't go our way, considering we put ourselves in a terrific position, but we just fell short from that. So allowing the players to regroup, reset, and then just put everything onto Sunday's game against a very competitive team in Houston. So yeah, we're all very excited for it. We're in a really good position. And, you know, you mentioned it earlier, we didn't have a great start to the season, but to be put in this position where it comes down to the last game, you know, is exciting stuff. So, yeah, we're all ready for Sunday's game against Houston.
Yeah, Seb, I think last time you came on our show, you guys went on a nice little run, so I understand why you accepted the interview, number one. But as supporters, it has been mad watching the ridiculous parody of this league. As a manager, I'm sure it's even more maddening. How do you deal with how any single match on any single day, you know, this is football, it can always happen, but the level of parody in this league where you absolutely never know what's going to happen on any day?
I think that just adds to the excitement, right? You know, some of the results that we've had have been against the top 6 teams, and that just shows like how far we've come as a team, as a club, and also the players. You know, the players deserve a lot of credit. A lot of people had wrote us off at the start of the season, but they've shown what they're capable of doing, and I'm super proud of them. I'm super proud of what they've put in to this season, but they've got one more game. They got one more game to get ourselves over that red line. And, you know, I think a lot of credit has to go to the players within the league, but also the coaches within the league as well. This has probably been the most competitive season since NWSL started. And, you know, again, it just adds to the excitement that it all comes down to this last game of the season. And you've got 8 teams that don't know where they're going to finish in the standings.
So, I mean, you need the win over the weekend to be able to get into the playoffs. So obviously we're not in the playoffs just yet, but are you guys kind of preparing for this matchup as if it is a playoff game? Because it feels that important that after the entire season, it's come down to this one game.
Yeah, we've kind of had that mentality in a lot of other games, having that playoff mentality. You look at our results over the season, we either win or lose. You know, we've got 1 tie throughout the whole season in the regular season. And, you know, I think we're second, 1 win behind Portland and San Diego are finishing 1st and 2nd. So it's a good position, to be honest. You know, we have to go out there and win the game on Sunday. And then hopefully that's enough. Hopefully 3 points is enough to get us over that line, which is what we've been searching for all season. So, yeah, we've had that playoff mentality since the very start. So, yeah, again, it's exciting that it's come down to this last and final game.
So the relationship between manager and players has always been fascinating to me. It's even more an interesting dynamic, I think, when you get a young manager like yourself and then players who are experienced and even sometimes older than the manager, like a Marta, who's been around forever. How do you balance being the manager but also leaning on her experience to help you and the squad as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to just be myself, just be the person that I've been for multiple years, with the responsibility to lead this team. Also, I do rely on players like Marta You know, she's got a lot more experience than I have within the game, and she knows what it takes to win the highest accolades as an individual. And you know, to have someone here and represent the team and guide, you know, we are the youngest team in the league, to guide our young players through, you know, moments of adversity, or keeping themselves humble and setting standards and expectations. You know, to have someone here like Ma is incredible. But yeah, I think it's just making players feel valuable and giving them direction and trying to get the best out of them. That's kind of what we've tried to approach as a staff, is just, you know, put players in positions and guide them and make them the best versions of themselves. And I feel like we've done a relatively good job with doing that. And there's still a lot of growing to do within this squad. You know, we're super excited with what the future holds for a lot of our players.
Now, as we spoke about before, a rough start to the beginning of the season, but you guys bounced back. You've gotten to where you are now, being able to make the postseason. I mean, what did it take from you guys to overcome all these rough patches? What did it take, and what are you hoping that you guys take from that continuing into this weekend to get into the postseason?
I think when you break it down early on in the season, the performances were pretty, like, you know, steady. You know, we were pretty pleased with our performances. It was just, maybe it was a lack of inexperience to see the game out, but we stayed competitive even in that run at the start of the season. And you know, we were conceding a lot of goals late on in games, which weren't ideal, but I think going through them experiences has helped us move forward and helped us get wins towards the end of the season also. So every moment that we spend on the field is a learning moment for us. And I think, you know, it's helped us, even though it's learning the hard way, I think it's helped us to be put into this position that we're in now.
Now, Seb, as a black man, I follow your career very closely. I follow the black players in this league very closely. Messiah Bright is another player whose career I've followed very closely. She's been, I think, a revelation in this league. Tell me what it's been like to manage her, and talk a little bit about her as a player.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rookie season and you forget about that, but she's taken it with both hands. Like, you know, she's super humble. She wants to improve. She wants to get better. She asks questions. But I think if you were to mold a 9, you know, she has a lot of them qualities. You know, she can run in behind. She can hold up play. She can finish both right foot and left foot. I think, you know, the future for her, you know, as cliche as it sounds, is very bright. You know, she has a bright future. You know, we're excited. And I think, you know, you look at where she landed in the draft, she has a point to prove. You know, a lot of forwards got taken before her. She's, you know, a leading goal scorer in her rookie season in comparison to other rookies within the league. And yeah, she kind of plays with that chip on her shoulder. But yeah, we have to manage her. Again, it's her first year. We have to make sure that we're making the right calls and don't, you know, allow her to get ahead of herself too much. Yeah, I think between myself and the staff, we've done a great job with her. And, you know, we're, again, excited for the next couple of years.
Love that.
Well, finally, I want to ask you about one more player. You were able to add a key piece this summer in Brazilian national team defender Rafaeli Sousa. What has her arrival done to the team? How impactful has she been?
You took her from my arsenal, Seb.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's a brilliant player. She's, you know, a top centre back in women's football. I think, you know, going back to our off season, it was important for us to re-sign a lot of the players that I had last year when I took over, and bring this core group and add in, you know, little pieces along the way, you know, giving young players an opportunity to go out there and express themselves, and adding pieces like, you know, Adriana and Rafaeli, especially, you know, bringing her in mid-season. has also helped us to get to this position. You know, we needed maybe a little more of a spark of bringing a top-class player, and that's what she is. She's a top world-class player, left-footed, centre-back. I was an ex-centre-back. She likes to head it. She likes to tackle. She likes to play. She can, you know, play the balls in behind or to feet. So, again, she has a lot of top qualities, and she's a threat in set pieces, which also I like. You know, when she goes up for corners, she has an eye for goal. So, yeah, she ticks a lot of boxes. And again, we're really happy to have her here and represent us.
Love that.
Yeah, well, Seb, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we've been talking so much about the chaotic weekend that we have ahead that I'm freaking excited for all of this. So I know that the both of us wish you the best of luck.
Absolutely. Best of luck this weekend.
Yeah. Thank you, Seb.
Thank you.
We're going to take